Hello everybody, Ryan Jewell here, your friendly neighborhood senior technical success analyst here at Civis Analytics. Today I'm going to demo for you setting up Civis Analytics MCP server locally with Claude Desktop. In addition, I'll be showing you how quickly and easily you can leverage our MCP server with Claude Desktop to locally create an HTML report using your data stored on Civis Platform and then host that report directly on Civis Platform. First, just so we're all on the same page, let's go over some terms. So what is Claude Desktop? It doesn't really need too much of an introduction at this point in the world, but nonetheless, Claude Desktop is an application that gives you persistent local access to the AI assistant Claude from Anthropic. And then, of course, we have Civis's MCP server. It's an open standard that lets AI tools securely connect to external data sources to give AI assistants like GitHub Copilot and Claude live access to your Civis Platform account. So to set up the MCP server with Claude, first you will need to have Claude Desktop installed like you see here. I also recommend grabbing our MCP server setup instructions that are available on our Zendesk free to the public. So you're going to want to download that or copy and paste the context of that MCP server instruction so that you can copy it directly into Claude. So let's jump into this first conversation I have going on with Claude. As you see here, I have a PDF of that documentation of setting up the MCP server, and I simply say, hey, I need to set up the Civis MPC server with you. I've attached the documentation that covers this. Let's get started. I also mentioned, hey, I've already had this conversation, so please ignore that this is already set up and this is for a demo. So I simply said that. It said, great, I've got the docs. Since we're using Claude Desktop, that's already up and running, and just wants to make sure we have some prerequisites. So you need to have Docker installed and running on your machine. That's all you got to do. You got to go to the link it links to here. Of course, this is grabbed from the PDF I fed into it. So you just go to that link, download it for your PC, for your Mac. Have it up in the background. That's it. Just have Docker up in the background. Of course, you have Claude Desktop installed already here, and then you need your Civis API key. To grab your Civis API key, you go to your Civis profile, go to the top right menu where your initials are, go down to My Profile, and then on your profile, you click API key in the top nav bar, and then you generate a 30-day API key to feed into some YAML that we'll get to in a second. And then it says once you have those confirmed, you're simply going to need to go to Settings and Developer and Edit Config and go and look at this JSON documentation. And so I tell it, hey, I already have Claude installed. I got the API ready to go. But I'm not going to post that in the conversation for security reasons. It's not a good idea to post your API key anywhere, even in a secure chat bot environment. So like it said earlier, it wants me to go to Settings. So you go up to here to Claude, and you go down. I got to move my face. You go down here to Settings, and then under Settings you have Developer. And then you edit config. So this isn't this little section right here where it says Civis and running. This is what we're setting up. So when you first set this up, this won't exist. You click edit config, and it's going to link you to the config file right here. This is a JSON. I'm not going to open this up because it already has my API key in there. But when you open this up originally, it's going to have a JSON in it already. So Claude is going to tell you is having you edit that. So what I would do in this situation is grab the JSON that already exists in there. So then you go back to the conversation you were having with Claude. Go back up to the top and you say, hey, the config file already contains a JSON, and I dropped it right here. And I asked, can you merge it with the JSON which was telling me to put into that file? So it already did that for me. Boom. This is the section that was already in the JSON. This is what it told me to add, so I don't got to figure out which squiggly bracket to put this new information in. I can just have Claude tell me exactly how to set up that JSON file. I go back to that config file, I open it up, I paste in what Claude printed out for me, and then I save that file, and then I close it. And then I go back to here. It says, okay, one thing I asked it, so what is Docker doing this whole time? I just have it up. Like, is it just supposed to chill there? And it said, yep, exactly. Docker just needs to be up in the background. I don't got to log into anything. I don't got to set anything up. I just have to have Docker existing in the background. And I said, okay, I have the config updated. I've saved it. So I close this Claude app and reopen it. It says exactly. So I close Claude and I open it up again. And I look over at Docker, which looks like this. Before, I didn't have anything here. And then this frosty Feynman popped up. And I took a screenshot of this. And I fed it into Claude and said, okay, I restarted Claude. And now I see this on Docker. And it says, that's a great sign. You can see that Docker has automatically spun up a container. And it's running the image. And I said, okay, great. Now it says to flip back to Claude Desktop and go to Settings and Developer, and I should see the Civis server is running. So again, I go back up to the menu here, go to Settings, and that's when I go to Developer, and I saw that this is now popped up. I took a screenshot of it, and I fed it into Claude. As you see here, I had that image. I said, yep, I see it running. Does this look right to you? And it says, that's perfect. You can see the Civis server is running, and we're all set up and ready to go now. We're connected to our MCP server. So now in Claude, I can ask it things. Why did my last workflow fail? How many rows are in this table? I can have it run queries for me. I can have it pull up all of my credentials. I can ask it something like I have here, what access does my user have to the public schema in Redshift General, which is a database we have internally on Civis. And it did a little query and found out that I have usage and create privileges on that public schema, so I got full access. So there you have it, quick and easy. I fed in the instructions. I told it what I wanted to do. It told me the prerequisites. I made sure I had the prerequisites ready. And I had like Docker up, the API key ready to go. It gave me a JSON, directed me to the file I needed to edit. I said, hey, there's already some JSON stuff here. Can you combine it for me? Because I don't want to figure it out. It gave it to me. I put it in that file. I clicked save, and then I closed out Claude, and I reopened it and confirmed that Docker has this new Civis Analytics image ready to go, and then I confirmed that Claude has it ready to go on its end, and then it was ready to query the database. Takes 2 minutes max. Just have to have those prerequisites downloaded, and you're good to go. So that's the first conversation with Claude I want to go over. So now that I have MCP set up, perhaps you're tasked with creating a quick little HTML report that you're going to host on Civis Platform and share around to one of your report viewer groups. So for that, we're going to hop over to another conversation. Here I have the second conversation pulled up where I want to leverage Claude to build me an HTML report that's hosted on Civis Platform. So I ask it that I want it to build this report for me using the public.iris table in Redshift General. It's a database on Civis Platform again. And I want to see the report here on Claude, but the end result is to host the report on Civis Platform. I've attached the documentation that covers hosting reports on Civis Platform. So again, everything on Civis Platform is documented. So we have a document that tells you step-by-step on how to set up and upload reports and host reports on Civis Platform. It covers HTML and a variety of other ports like Tableau and Shiny and Streamlit. But for here, we just care about HTML. And so I gave it this prompt, and in one single prompt, along with the PDF of how to do it, it wrote a whole report for me and already posted on Civis Platform. So great, I've got the full picture. We'll build the HTML report. We'll preview it here. We'll publish it on Civis Platform. It gave me a few questions. So at first it said, what would you like to see in the report? It gave you a multi-select option. I selected them all. So I selected show me a scatter plot, show me some summary statistics, a distribution chart, and then also a surprise me option. So I clicked it to see what it would do. And so it said it got all four. We love it. I had to give it some approval to run a few queries, and it's all done. It's all done. I can view my report right here in Civis Platform. Iris Dataset Explorer. It's got 150 rows. There's 3 species of plants in this data set, 4 measures, right? So it gives you some high-level summary statistics at a glance, and then it has some scatter plots, some Boston box and whisker plots. Look, we got some outliers right there. And we have this crazy plot here that looks at septal length, septal width, pedal length, and pedal width, tracking each observation point to point. And then at the bottom here, we have some summary statistics. But not only, so this is me viewing the report locally on Claude. But not only that, is it already has it live on Civis Platform. It already did it. It's already published. One prompt. So if I click here, it opens it up. I already have it opened. So here we have it open on Civis Platform. It's all ready to go, just like we saw locally. And all I gotta do is unmaximize it, click these three dots here, and I can just share it with any user on platform or any report viewer group. It's all ready to go. Again, one single prompt, and we're all set. But maybe it's not good enough, right? You can view this and write in the prompt here, be like, hey, I don't like this plot. I don't like how there's this gray background and grid. I want you to change it, and it will change it. It will edit it. Of course, it will preview it to you locally here, and it will update the report directly on platform. So I just so happened to do that. So I said, this is great. Can you publish a Civis Analytics branded version of this? I want to keep both versions so I can see which one I prefer. So again, it did that. Boom. Civis Analytics branded. It's got our color scheme, the golden letters, the blue background. So Civis Analytics data report at the top. It's beautiful. It's all ready to go. And of course, it has a link to it right here. So you can view the original. It has that link ready to go. And the Civis branded version. Of course, I already have the Civis branded version already up here in a tab. So there you have it. And in a second, it updated that report. And again, I can keep iterating on this. So in a few minutes, it did take a few minutes for these prompts to run, for it to compile everything, but it did 90% of the work in a matter of minutes, and I can iterate it on here. So it's quick, it's easy, it doesn't take long to set up the MCP server, it doesn't take long to set up these reports. So who needs a CRM when you got Claude Desktop connected to our MCP server that can quickly and easily create HTML reports for you in a matter of minutes? So there you have it. That's it for me today. If you have any questions, please email us at support@civisanalytics.com, and I'll see y'all in the ticket queue. See ya.